Welcome back to Good Morning BU. We now turn to Carly Campuzano, who is sitting down with Chris Sumlin, a Boston University graduate student who recently published a new self-help book for college students.
Thank you, Sydney. Morehouse College alumnus and Boston University graduate student Chris Sumlin has published 2 books and currently is a speaker to young adults about how to reach your goals. Sumlin's first book, called Dealing with This Thing Called Life, offers self-help tips for people who want to overcome obstacles. He recently published his second book, called Dealing with This Thing Called College. Chris, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks so much for having me.
Now, what inspired you to write your most recently published book?
Well, dealing with this thing called college really provides practical and quantifiable actions to really do well in college. And growing up in Columbus, Ohio, in a community that wasn't talking about higher education, it wasn't guaranteed that I would go to college, let alone graduate, let alone go to graduate school. So after I finished my bachelor's work at Morehouse, and when I understood that I was going to pursue a master's, I knew that I was really given a special opportunity, and that one that wasn't expected for me. So I started writing that summer after I finished Morehouse, and in February of 2018, Dealing with this thing called college came out, and I'm just hoping that it really inspires young people to know that they can go to college and aspire to greatness.
Yes. So what can BU students mainly take away from your book?
There's so many stories. It's 12 stories, 3 from each of my years, freshman year, sophomore year, junior, and senior year, where I talk about themes of friendship, mentorship, meeting good friends, internships. And so there's so many stories. I even talk about credit cards in the book. And I just really hope that students are inspired by it and understand that anything is possible that you want to do, whether it be get an internship at the Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, whether it be going to Fox, or even just going to getting a master's degree. And so I think that they'll really be inspired by it.
Yes. How did you go about the publishing process?
Well, my first book, Dealing with This Thing Called Life, actually came out April 13th in 2016, so it's the 2-year anniversary today. And I met with Brad Paquette, who runs a publishing house in Columbus, Ohio called the Columbus Publishing Lab. And so he and I worked together to produce Dealing with This Thing Called Life when I was a junior at Morehouse. And then we did the same process again with Dealing with This Thing Called College after I finished. And it took about 9 months from beginning the actual Word document on Google Docs into it being live on Amazon. But it was really fun. I think that I was born to tell stories and write, and so I plan just to continue writing and always working with Brad Paquette and his amazing team.
Nice. Now, outside of the text, what is your main advice for BU students as they pursue their undergraduate degree?
I think it's so important that students understand how collaborative things are. The reason I'm sitting here today is because my friend Kelsey told me about this opportunity. And I just know that when you work with people, you can really make amazing things happen. In my first book, Dealing with This Thing Called Life, I tell a story about how me and my best friend Corbin met Rihanna. And so there's this really great chapter called The Art of Collaboration. And so my advice for any student at any college would just be to understand that work with those that are around you, because similar people with similar goals can make powerful impacts.
Nice. Now, I understand you also speak publicly to millennials. What inspired you to do so?
I think that it's so important that representation is always around. My best friend Sean has a quote that he says, "Visibility is survival." And so I know that the life that I've been given is not one that people would expect. I come from a very impoverished, disenfranchised community, but now I'm in a master's program at Boston University. So it's important that I let people know that you don't have to play ball or rap, but you can be a writer, be a scholar, be a good person, work hard, and that you can achieve anything that is that you want to do. And that's the intention with my writing work, my video work, as well as my public speaking.
Yes. What would you say your favorite part about speaking and writing is?
The best thing ever is when I talk to people and they read my writing and they say, "That reminds me of me. That's how I felt." You really speak to me when you're talking, and when I'm reading your writing, it sounds like you're reading and writing to me. I really like just connecting with people and just understanding that we're all the same. We all have our aspirations and our goals, and we all just want to be successful. So when people are able to recognize my work and understand that within themselves, that to me really feels good.
Yes. Now, a lot of our viewers are students in the College of Communication. What is something that you wish you knew when you first started studying communications?
I really wish I kind of knew what I wanted to do. I never planned on being an author, or even coming to BU was at very last minute. So I really wish that I had a clear goal of what it was I wanted to do and who it is I wanted to be. And I think that when anyone starts any academic journey or a job or anything, it's important that you understand what it is that you want to do and then reverse engineer how to make that happen. And the quicker you can be clear of what it is you're trying to do, the easier you can make that happen for yourself.
Yes. What was a main obstacle that you faced while pursuing your education, and how did you overcome it?
Well, there wasn't a lot of precedence. I couldn't call my dad or mom and say, hey, I'm dealing with financial aid. I know you went through this, so how can we make this happen? So it was important for me to seek out people that were similar to me, that I could connect to, that could be role models for me and sources of inspiration, because there was no one that I had seen come from Columbus and go to Morehouse or go to BU or do the things that I've done. So that was a really big struggle, but I just really tried to find people that were similar to the things that I've done and that I went through, and try to see those people as role models.
Now, I understand that you wrote a paper about Kim Kardashian West that captured her attention. Could you
Yes.
tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, last semester when I was in my first semester at BU, I had a assignment with my media money show class with Jody Luber, and we had to do a case study on just a brand, a company, or a product. And me, I'm a very proud Black Kim Kardashian fan, and I make no reservations about that. And so I knew that I wanted to do a story on Kim Kardashian. So I wrote this 12-page paper about the Kim Kardashian West Hollywood video game, and I got a good grade on it. And I just put it on Twitter, and I was like, thanks Kim Kardashian for helping me ace my first graduate school paper. And I added her. And my phone just started blowing up, retweet, retweet, retweet. I was like, why does everybody care? And as I was literally doing dishes at a restaurant, my phone said, Kim Kardashian, wow, that is so cool. And I'm like, there's no way that that is to me. And I looked at my phone and it was Kim Kardashian saying, wow, that is so cool. So I say Kim K is not just aware of my work, but she's a fan of it. And that's one
Amazing.
thing I really brag about.
Now, you were able to meet her, correct? How was that experience?
I did. When I was a sophomore at Morehouse, I talk about it in Dealing with This Thing Called Life. When I was working in Los Angeles, I just kept saying publicly, I'm going to meet Kim Kardashian. I am going to meet Kim Kardashian, which some people think, oh, that's so foolish, that's so stupid. And during my last week of my internship in LA, she had a meet and greet in my neighborhood. And I went, I met her, we took a picture, and I met Kim Kardashian.
Incredible. So what would you say is next for you?
Well, I'm studying television now, pursuing a Master's of Science in Producing and Management. When I was at Morehouse, I studied television, writing, and film writing. So it's my aspiration to partner with my best friend Corbin, and we're going to try to turn one of these books into actually a television series. Because I know no matter how friendly I am, how inspiring I am, people may not touch my book, but they'll watch television. So I just want to continue to tell stories that invite people to be great and be inspired, and that's what I plan to do after I finish my graduate work here at BU.
Awesome. Well, best of luck to you, and thank you for speaking with me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Check out his website at www.thechrissumlin.com to learn more about how Chris inspires young people everywhere to manifest their dreams. Keep his name in mind, because in the near future you may see it again in an entertainment industry headline. When we return, Nick and Sydney will have more news on campus happenings this weekend. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Good Morning BU. Yesterday, students had the opportunity to attend a series of intimate discussions around campus with local Holocaust survivors for Yom HaShoah, or Holocaust Remembrance Day. Reporter Maya Malekian has more on this powerful series of discussions.
Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Remembrance Day. Boston University Hillel House, along with the Elie Wiesel Center for Jewish Studies, put together a day of remembrance to commemorate the 6 million Jews who died during the Holocaust. Beginning with a reading of the names of the victims, followed by a candle lighting ceremony, the Day of Remembrance concluded with stories from Holocaust survivors themselves. At 7 locations all around the BU campus, BU Hillel invited Holocaust survivors to share their stories of the past, present, and future as a Holocaust survivor. Here at Marsh Chapel, the public had gathered to hear the story of Holocaust survivor and Boston University alumnus Sid Handler.
This was a very rare and incredibly special opportunity, both for our students at BU to be able to be present with someone, an individual who lived through the atrocities of the Holocaust.
I think it's important for the kids to learn firsthand what went on while we're still alive. That's the main reason.
In the words of the late Nobel laureate and BU professor Elie Wiesel, to forget the dead would be akin to killing them a second time. Reporting from Good Morning BU, I'm Maya Malekian.
Moving now to campus headlines, runners from around the world will take to the streets for the Boston Marathon this Monday. The nearly 30,000 racers will begin in Hopkinton, with the first heat starting at 8:40 a.m. and cross the finish line on Boylston Street. Students can watch the marathon throughout the city, but remember to be safe as celebrations commence.
The 8th Annual Earth Day Festival will be held this Thursday on the GSU Plaza, beginning at 11 a.m. and lasting until 2:30 p.m. The festival will bring together nonprofits, student organizations, BU departments, and local businesses to focus on sustainability and climate action efforts both on and off campus. And that's all we have for you guys today. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at GMBU10 and like our page on Facebook. I'm Sydney Brown.
And I'm Nick McCool. For all of us here on GMBU, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you back here next Friday morning. In the meantime, have a great weekend and a safe Marathon Monday. Take care, everybody.